The studio is now working. Thank you, Sam. Apparently, though, it's in a weird setting. And so it's bizarrely, I guess, following my every move.
It's cut your head off, too.
It's cutting my head. Well, it's okay.
It's following your eyes.
So do me a favor. It's following his eyes?
Yeah.
So, Dan, move your eyes right to left. Keep your head steady. Now move your eyes left to right.
All right, I'm doing it.
All right, it's not doing that. Now move your head. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Now go around in a circle.
How about no? How
Come
about
on.
no? How about if we focus on the radio show instead of being all concerned about the TV that never seems to work? It is very frustrating for those of us on the morning show because, as we've spoken about, almost every single morning something does not work.
So there's a single close-up, and then there's just upper body. So now I'm zoomed out, but it's cut your hat off right at your
Well, you know what the
brow.
funny thing is? The last thing anybody wants is an awkward zoomed-in close-up of yours truly. So whatever. Anyway, if you want to go see the train wreck that is Super Talk TV this morning, you go right on ahead. Donald Trump had some incredible speeches and some incredible things to say. 4th of July. By the way, we do have Super Talk working, sort of. So if you want to see the video that I'm playing, we do have it on Super Talk TV. I liked Donald Trump's speech on the 4th of July. This was in Washington, D.C.
This country is the home of freedom. This is the land of liberty. And this is a flag that's the banner of the most extraordinary, most exceptional, most incredible nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And we're doing better now than we've ever done before. No people have done more good, shown more courage, made more progress, righted more injustice, or achieved more greatness than you, the American people. For 250 years, the United States of America has been the hope, the promise, the light, and the glory among all of the nations of the world. All over the world, they try and be like us. Nobody can be like us. And with God's help, we will always be this or even better.
So that is, of course, Donald Trump talking about the future of America. And, you know, he is right about a number of different things. You know, even in this country at this time where we have these communists all over the country that are getting elected, I got to tell you, and I saw a couple of news stories over the weekend. I'll get to the details later. But the polling, I don't know if you saw this, Joan, but the polling is now showing that we are going to keep the House and we are going to keep the Senate. And maybe, just maybe, we'll even get a little bit more padding in our majority in the Senate. We'll have to see what happens. But what it looks like is that people are recognizing that the Democrat Party is going to some very ugly places. And by and large, the American people and a lot of people within the Democrat Party are not willing to go the route of communism within the Democrat Party.
I have a question, though.
Yes.
Does this mean that we can overcome John Thune's stupidity?
It depends, Joan.
Yeah, you think?
It depends on whether or not we have enough to bypass the filibuster.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully we do, but
you know, I was thinking about it this morning.
That's a lot of stupidity to overcome.
It is. It is. I was thinking about it this morning, and I'm thinking while I was in the shower, right? So I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, we've heard John Thune tell us about, we just don't have enough votes to overcome the filibuster. The votes are just not there. Why are we not hearing John Thune say things like, we are working on busting some heads together to get this done. It's going to happen. We're working on it. We're going to get there. Like there's nothing that's lighting a fire under his butt to go out and do the work of the American people. He's there to explain away, but not there to work on the issue.
Well, and the question is, why is the Senate taking all of this time off? I mean, we could go on and on about this.
Yes.
Everybody knows John Thune sucks. But the other problem is that we simply don't have the numbers. As I said last week, I forget who I said it to. I said it to a couple of different people. You name the Senate Majority Leader, right? Whoever you want to put in there, you name the Senate Majority Leader. It can be Blackburn. It can be Haggerty. It can be Josh Hawley. It can be anyone you want it to be. They still won't have the numbers. You've got, as I said last week, you've got the Rhino 4. You've got Lisa Collins. No, you've got Collins, Murkowski, Mitch, what room am I in? McConnell, and Tom Tillis. You've got those 4. So
He's not even out of the hospital yet.
Mitch McConnell's still not out of the hospital?
I don't believe he is. Nobody's made that announcement.
We called Biden out ad nauseum, and we have on this show been calling out Mitch McConnell. Dude, resign. You need to resign.
Definitely.
Anyway, so Donald Trump, and again, he had some great things to say on the 4th of July. Here's another cut.
Here on our National Mall, we're celebrating freedom's triumph over tyranny, liberty's conquest over oppression, and the enduring victory of the American spirit from the July 4th, 1776 to July 4th, 2026. Big dates. That's big dates. 2 big ones. And tonight our country is stronger, freer, richer, safer, and prouder than ever before.
Yep, that's President Trump. A lot of great things to say. Clearly better than Zoran Mamdani. We're going to get into some of that audio straight ahead. One of the things that is abundantly clear, and we saw that over the 4th of July, it's like, and President Trump was talking about the big differences between the two political parties. Are you proud of America or are you not? We'll talk a little bit about that straight ahead. It's coming up on 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, today, possible thunderstorms this afternoon at a high of 88. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. Joan, do we have a feels like temperature that's going to send us up over 90 degrees?
It's going to be 88 for the high, but the feels like temperature won't go above 100. That's what Stefano was telling us.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Joan. All right, it is 6:15 on Super Talk 99.7. So it would seem like an obvious answer to the question. Who is the more patriotic political party, the Democrats or the Republicans, as we wrap up our 4th of July discussions? Well, think about what the socialists are running on, right? You have a hatred of capitalism. You have a hatred of really everything that America stands for. They hate the military. They want to defund the police. They want to eliminate law and order. They hate legal immigration. They celebrate illegal immigration. And they hate our freedoms of speech. They hate the Second Amendment clearly. This is what the socialists that are running in the Democrat Party stand for. They essentially, seems to me, hate the Constitution. I don't think that I'm spreading fake news. And it's, by the way, the other thing that I would say is that it's not just the candidates themselves. It is those that vote for them and advocate for them as well. You may or may not remember this from last week. This is Harry Enton on CNN talking about the differences between the Republicans and the Democrats when it comes to who is proud to be an American.
Among Republicans, 93% are extremely or very proud. Just a single one, say they have little to no pride in being an American. But look over at the Democratic side. This is where we've seen this extremely or very number. It's been taking a tumble at 27%, which is way different than the 93. You do the quick math with me here. What is that? That's a 66-point difference here in terms of extremely or very. But look at this. The little or no proud to be an American actually among Democrats eclipses is greater than the extremely or very proud number. So we are just living in such a different universe.
All right, so that is Harry Enton. And, he threw a lot of numbers at you, but you heard what he said. I mean, you're talking about a political party, the Democrats, who clearly don't like to be an American and they're not proud to be Americans. 93%, the GOP, how proud are you to be an American? The GOP, 93% say very or extremely. Only 27% of Democrats are very or extremely proud to be an American. Little or no, only 1% of Republicans are not proud to be American. 36% say they have zero pride in being American. So more of the Democrat Party say they have zero pride in being an American than say that they are very proud of being an American. 36 to 27%. So, I mean, all you got to do is either look at the numbers or compare and contrast Donald Trump's speech with the leader of the Democrat speech, Mayor Zoran Mamdani, of course, out of New York. What a difference. So I just played you some of Donald Trump's speech. This is part of Mamdani's speech. Listen very closely as he started bashing the rich and powerful in America. Okay. So my computer just crashed. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our break a little early, and we are going to try to fix all of our computer issues.
I'm not laughing at you.
Because what we've been trying to do as I'm in the middle of this segment is trying to fix the stream as well while I'm live on the air. So this is a fantastic day back. First day back after a couple of days away. It is 6:18 on Super Talk 99.7. I want to tell you about my friends at the Glock store. Listen, I got to tell you, there's a big event coming at the Glock store Friday, August 7th. The Glock store is having a VIP day featuring the brand new O-Sight optics. Now, if you haven't seen the O-Sight optics, they are amazing. Reviews have been phenomenal. Bigger, clearer viewing as far as the window goes, and an excellent value for the price. It's got a longer battery life and multiple brightness settings as well. Now, what do I always say about the Glock store? The latest and the greatest. Now, on Friday, August 7th, from noon to 5, you'll get a chance to check out these O-Sight optics up close, and making a special appearance is Short Shot Tony. Now, this guy, apparently he's hilarious. He's a gun enthusiast and, yes, a YouTube influencer as well. Lenny McGill will be there, of course, and a lot of Glocks and optics as well. You'll be hands-on with O-Sight optics in the Shoot 270 shooting rooms. Get expert CCW tips and tactics. Learn red dot install and bore sighting techniques and a whole lot more. By the way, they're also going to have a delicious catered lunch. Now, when you buy your tickets, you're going to get a big bag full of gear worth over $2,000. And that's going to include a brand new O-Sight optic. So what you need to do, go to glockstore.com/VIP to grab those tickets. That is Friday, August 7th. There's even more O-Sight events on Saturday, the 8th of August, with hands-on range time, great giveaways, exclusive in-store discounts, and free O-Sight swag, and a whole lot more. It is O-Sight August at the Glock store, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere. .620 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I want to tell you about my friends at Loan Pronto. If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, do refinance it. No, don't refinance it. You don't have to. You can call my friends at Loan Pronto. You can still get cash out of your home with that original loan. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Now, here's what you can do. With Loan Pronto, you can get all that cash that you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. Now, one local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It does get better. There is no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process either, and no closing costs. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments as well. So call my friends at Loan Pronto right now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much money you can get right now. 615-499-5780. 615-499-5780. LoanPronto.com. Dan Mandis here. So many people, maybe even you, living with cataracts. Maybe you don't realize how much it is impacting your everyday life. Now, the good news is the fix is quick. It all begins with a personalized consultation with Dr. Horn at Vision for Life. Now, if you've been dealing with blurry or cloudy vision, glare or halos around lights, colors that just don't seem as bright as they used to, those are all signs of cataracts. And for a lot of people, driving becomes difficult, even dangerous, especially at night. Some people even experience double vision in one eye. That is dangerous. That's not something that you have to live with. Cataract surgery today, it is fast, it is painless, and the results can be truly life-changing. So don't wait. Call Dr. Horn at Vision for Life, 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020, visionforlife.com to schedule your cataract evaluation with Dr. Horn today and find out if you qualify. 615-436-2020, visionforlife.com. .624 Super Talk 99.7 WTN 615-737-9986 615-737 WWTN. Going over some of these audio clips from New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani. Of course, he gave a 4th of July speech, not behind the desk of George Washington, but in front of the desk of George Washington. And there's a lot that he said. I've got just a couple of select sound bites just to give you an idea of where he went, because he really was bashing America. Just disgusting for a 4th of July speech. This is part of what Mamdani had to say.
The powerful have always known their answer. America, in their view, is an arena of supremacy, where only a select few are allowed freedom, where not all are created equal. America, if you ask them, becomes less the more people it welcomes. America, they will tell you, belongs only to those with the right accent or the right shade of skin. The rest of us, they insist, should be grateful for merely being allowed to visit. How small they are, how weak, how unoriginal. At every moment in our past, those who led through exclusion and isolation have tried to win power and enrich themselves by turning us against one another. Division is the oldest trick in politics and the cheapest.
So I love how Mamdani is talking about the evils of being divisive as he is engaged in an absolutely incendiary speech. I mean, clearly, it's awful. Claiming that if you want legal immigration and controlled immigration and a country wanting to protect its sovereignty, that you're being divisive and trying to simply enrich themselves. And by the way, you don't have to be rich and powerful to want our border secure and keep crime off the streets. You know, part of what I thought about this was, of course, the founding fathers. But, you know, it's the rich and powerful, I suppose, from many years ago that wanted immigration in the first place, right? That America was supposed to be welcoming to all who wanted to take advantage of the many opportunities here in America that our freedoms granted. But you know what? I don't want people coming into our country. I don't want people taking advantage of our laws or our generosity. And I love how this dude Mamdani, a socialist, is blasting the powerful as he strong-armed the state of New York into basically paying off his city's debt and balancing the budget. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But more from Zoran Mamdani.
As we mark 250 years, what do we see? We see a city of contradictions within a nation of contradictions. We see the wealthiest country in the history of the world, one where children go to sleep hungry while the world's first trillionaire hungers for more. We see monopolies that dominate every industry and oligarchs who buy elections. We see masked agents terrorizing our streets, eating food cooked by our undocumented neighbors before spiriting them away in unmarked vans.
So that is Zohran Mamdani, and a lot of people on the right complaining about the things that he said. Of course, I didn't see any Democrats. I don't know if you did, Joan. I did not see one Democrat call out Mamdani for an incredibly un-American speech where he said very incendiary things about America and what it represents. So a few things. That one line where he said, "We see a country where children go to bed hungry while its first trillionaire hungers for more." So can somebody tell me, where are there children in America going to bed hungry? Like, can somebody point me to one? Can somebody please show me where a child that is hungry due to our nation's politics, due to our nation's millionaires and billionaires? Nobody can. Because here in America, if a family cannot afford to eat and there's kids in the home, then there are plenty of food banks and government benefits, to be sure, to provide the safety nets for kids to be able to eat. So one of the things I would say about Mamdani is that his speech was nothing but platitudes. Kids don't go hungry in our country. They just don't. There's enough safety nets out there. If there are kids in the home, legal or not, they are provided food, period, end of story, through government programs or food banks. And yeah, Elon Musk is rich, and he has also made many other people rich as well. Elon Musk has employed thousands of people over the years, and he does incredible work as well. Mamdani, obviously, he's doing what Democrats do, and it's what they do best. He's being hateful, he's being spiteful, and he's trying to spread hatred and division. So that was Mamdani's speech in a nutshell. Donald Trump's speech, if you want to compare and contrast, you had Donald Trump, very pro-American. Yeah, and he put some politics in there as well. Do you know what he talked about? One of the things that he talked about was the SAVE Act and how we need to pass the SAVE Act. I can't think of, anything more pro-American than wanting to have our elections safe and secure. So I welcome the president talking about the SAVE Act because guess what? It does need to pass. It won't, but it needs to. Sadly, I think that ship has sailed. It is 6:30. Joan has the news coming up here in just a few minutes. Joan, what you got?
We'll tell you why President Trump is going after the leaders of the Smithsonian museums. That's coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is 6:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Stick around, the forecast and traffic still to come. President, make that police in Nashville are trying to find the person who shot a gun into the air, injuring an 8-year-old girl during downtown Nashville's 4th of July celebrations this weekend. Fortunately, that girl's injuries were only minor, but police say it's not a fluke. It's happened before in Nashville. In fact, 3 people were injured in separate areas of downtown last year. In South Carolina, police responded to a dangerous 4th of July celebration where shots were fired and fireworks were launched at cars. But those responding police officers were pummeled by a group of teenagers.
Officers exited their patrol vehicles to intervene, separate the individuals involved in the fights, and work to restore order and protect the public. During the response, multiple firearms and a makeshift spear were recovered. Multiple officers were physically assaulted, with 2 female officers sustaining minor injuries.
That's Police Chief Ron Camacho there. Those 2 cops were seen on video being stomped to the ground by the teens. The Trump administration going after the leadership of the Smithsonian Museums, accusing it of seeking to whitewash our history.
The Trump administration accuses the leaders of the Smithsonian of being radical activists. The report, released by the White House Domestic Policy Council, claims the Smithsonian cannot be trusted to tell America's story honestly, adding the leadership has moved the museum's mission away from straight straightforward historical education and scholarship toward an extreme political activism that seeks to transform our country.
Yeah, it comes after an appeals court sided with the Trump administration after it removed dozens of national park exhibits on slavery and climate change. The administration says those exhibits inappropriately disparage Americans, past or living. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here, Mark Spain Real Estate. If you are stuck in a home that you cannot sell, call Mark Spain. If your open houses are being ignored, call Mark Spain. If you're tired of making costly repairs while your house goes unsold, call Mark Spain. Their guaranteed offer keeps you in control. You're going to get out of your home fast and with maximum profit. Now, Mark Spain Real Estate has over 72,000 clients and is the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. 13,000 five-star reviews cannot be wrong. Mark Spain Real Estate is the company I recommend for selling your home. So call Mark Spain right now and get out of your home fast and move on to the next chapter in your life. 855-299-SOLD. 855-299-SOLD. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Dan Mandis here, lifelong dog owner, and I've seen all kinds of behaviors with my animals, and I bet that you have too. Now, if you have a dog that needs some behavior training, my buddy Jeff and his crew at Ridgeside Canine Nashville, they can help you. I call these folks the dog whisperers. They've helped thousands of dogs and their owners over the last 25 years solve behavioral issues. They can help you as well. Aggression, potty problems, anxiety, basic obedience. They can help you help your precious pup with just about anything. So one of the things that I love about Ridgeside Canine Nashville is that they believe that owner education is just as important as dog training, and long-term success with your dog starts with you. At Ridgeside Canine Nashville, they've got a lifetime support guarantee. They are there for you 24/7. So check them out online, of course, rsk9nash.com, the letter K, the number 9, rsk9nash.com, 615-878-0380. Ridgeside Canine Nashville, veteran owned, proven results, and guaranteed for life.
Okay, a few accidents here in Nashville at Nolensville Pike and Brewer Drive in East Bank on 24 eastbound before Shelby Avenue. The right exit lane there blocked off. And in Midtown on Elliston Place at 23rd Avenue North. That one involving some injuries. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
637 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I don't know which I care about less.
Oh, wait, I know one story.
Taylor Swift's wedding.
There you go.
Or the World Cup. Now, which do you care less about, Joan? Taylor Swift's wedding or the World Cup?
I think it's Taylor Swift's wedding.
Okay, me too.
With the exception of this one thing.
Okay.
The couple donated, I have to get the sum, but they donated at least $2 million to Dolly Parton's Imagine program that
Good for them.
sends the books out to the kids.
You know what?
Yeah.
I love that. And here's the thing about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Is that I think they're a couple of narcissists.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing. If they're doing that, if they're throwing millions to Dolly Parton, then good on them.
Yeah.
Because they can annoy the living you-know-what out of me. But if they're trying to help kids, that would be... And you know what? Taylor Swift ought to start her own program. You know? Like, she's got the money to do it. So she should start her own reading program or whatever program it is to help kids, just like Dolly Parton does. Or just partner with Dolly Parton and continue to funnel millions into it. Anyway.
Here you go. Well, let me go further, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
They donated $2 million to Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. It was part of a broader $26 million charitable contribution the couple made to various organizations ahead of their wedding. So I can't blame them on that. Like,
no, that's cool.
That is pretty cool.
You have to love that.
You have to be a narcissist to schedule your wedding at Madison Square Garden in the middle of the 4th of July celebrations, where everyone is going to be on the streets and jammed to tears because of your stupid wedding.
They closed the streets of New York City in front of Madison Square Garden, and traffic was an absolute nightmare.
Well, and you had the diehards. I like to call them the crazies. I know they call themselves the Swifties, but you had diehards who drove 9+ hours just to stand outside of Madison Square Garden.
To say I was there.
That is so dumb.
Like, they didn't go down to the seaport to see the tall ships coming through and America's greatness and all that.
Yeah.
They wanted to stand in front of Madison Square Garden.
Well, you know what? People are interested. There was one point over the weekend, I kid you not, there were 15 articles on Taylor Swift's wedding in the Daily Mail.
Honestly.
What is insanity?
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, so, yeah, we're not going to dwell on Taylor Swift's wedding, although good on him for the charitable stuff. I do like that.
Well, and the cat sitters, you know, they made a fortune this weekend for all the people that went to stand outside the stadium.
Sure. Now, Donald Trump saves America's chances in the World Cup. Now, I actually find this interesting. I have not given two you-know-whats about the World Cup. I love that it's here. I love that Donald Trump brought the World Cup here. But if you're not into soccer, which I'm not, I'm going to try to explain this the best that I can, because people are losing their ever-loving mind, not in America, Joan, but across the world.
Yeah. Because
Donald Trump stood up for Team USA. So one of Team USA's star players was suspended he got kicked out of one game and suspended for the next game because the referees, in a very controversial decision, decided that our star player had committed what I would say is the equivalent in soccer of a flagrant foul in basketball or unnecessary roughness in football. They call it a red flag. So American fans lost their ever-loving minds because, and I can tell you that the Team USA player was just trying to, go for the ball, did not do anything intentional, but ended up stepping on the opposing player's ankle. But it clearly was not intentional. But the referees said that it was red card worthy. I called it red flag. It's red card, I guess. They said that it was red card worthy. And again, not only ejected him from the game against Bosnia and Herzegovina, but suspended him for Team USA's next game as well. And I got to tell you that this was, by all accounts, a very bad call.
Fans outraged.
The worst red card there ever was.
Others pointing to the GOAT, Lionel Messi, making a similar foul earlier in the tournament, walking away with a slap on the wrist. No matter what, Balogun will have to sit out Monday's big game against Belgium.
I like how they say no matter what, because nobody thought that Donald Trump would pick up the phone, but that is exactly what happened. Donald Trump actually picked up the phone and called the president of FIFA.
Well, it's a major break for the U.S. men's national team. Its top scorer, Fuller and Balogun, is back in the lineup for tomorrow's World Cup showdown with Belgium. FIFA has reversed his one-game ban, and President Trump might have helped make it happen. Madison Scarpino has the latest on this. Madison.
Hi, John. Yeah, we are just learning in the last hour that President Trump actually called the FIFA president, according to sources, asking them to review Balogun's suspension.
In real time, it's clear that it's accidental.
Yeah, this is Clay Travis, and he is talking about how President Trump, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and others, you know what they did, Joan? They were putting together a team of elite lawyers from outside the government to challenge this thing, to challenge the red card. Specifically, they challenged the use of slow motion instant replay, which is what they did to give the red card, because the referees down on the field, they didn't call the red card live. But then they have this, I guess it's kind of controversial, this instant replay in soccer. And so it was the slow motion instant replay that called the red card. And so our lawyers were going to, if they did not actually argue that using that instant replay violated FIFA rules. President Trump apparently called Gianni Infantino, FIFA's president, to let him know the appeal had been filed, saying that the red card penalty was excessive. FIFA's independent committee review agreed that it was excessive and incorrectly given. And they actually rescinded the red card. And so, you know, for me, I mean, even though other countries are losing their minds, I don't care. I like that we have a president that is standing up for Team USA. This is more from Clay Travis.
In real time, it's clear that it's accidental. The player that was stepped on was able to finish the game. It's not as if we had a significant penalty for the other side here either. I believe, based on conversations that I have had, that President Trump talked to Gianni Infantino, the head of FIFA, who he's had a great relationship with, said, as many sports fans did, hey, this red card was unjustified. This was way too draconian of a punishment relative to what occurred. And FIFA went back and looked at their rule book. And one of the things about FIFA is their rule book basically allows them to do anything. And under FIFA Rule 27, and I'm reading, they have the ability to suspension of implementation of disciplinary measures. That is the authority under which this red card has been lifted.
So there you go. Donald Trump saves Team USA. And Sam, you were telling me off the air that apparently what FIFA or the referees did was against the rules.
Against the rules, kind of obfuscated, but basically when it comes to the review of certain penalties and how they're initiated, so like if you call it one thing and then you review it, it depends on, did you call it a severe penalty? Was it a red card initially? Was it just a normal penalty? Was it a yellow card? Depends on how you review it. And the controversy was they shouldn't have been using slow motion replay because that made it look worse than it really was. And so that's what people were upset about. It wasn't initially called that. Because kind of, I think it's similar to hockey where if you call it the highest penalty, you can review it however you need to just to be sure. But if you don't call it that, then you should have watched it in full speed. As Clay Travis comes on and says, you see it in full speed, it doesn't look intentional. And also owed to consistency, right? We heard about Messi, similar play. They're going for the ball, steps on the guy's ankle, no call. They just drop the ball and let the team have a free kick. So
do you think the refs were like trying to try to knock America? Because the player that was suspended was our leading scorer.
Yeah.
An anchor baby.
What's that, Joan?
He's an anchor baby. Do you know his story?
I don't, but I bet you do.
I do. He is from his mom and dad are from, and it's an African country. I'm not sure if it's Nigeria. I'll have to look it up. But when his mom was pregnant with him, she came to America to visit family. And when she went to get back on a plane to go home, the TSA, whomever said, "You're too pregnant to travel." And they made her stay in America. She had Falarin, is that his name? I don't know. And then went back home. And he actually ended up growing up in England, playing soccer through, the seed programs for the professionals there.
Right.
But said, "I want to play in America, and I'm an American, so I can."
So he was an unintentional anchor baby.
Correct.
Because this
Yes.
was not an instance of birth tourism. His mom came over and she was way too pregnant. She maybe shouldn't have come over, whatever. But he ended up getting American citizenship, goes off, lives in England, and then decided, you know what? I'm going to play for America.
Yes.
And the left is using that as birthright citizenship does do great things. And it's like, okay, this guy's in his late 20s, I think, right?
Yeah.
So just we thought immigration was great. And then in 1914, we're like, hey, guys, you actually have to go through an actual port of entry. You can't just show up here and file claims.
Well, that's what the left likes to do. They like to say, oh, Republicans are anti-immigration. It's no, Republicans are anti-illegal immigration. We are pro-legal immigration, but they always like to leave that part out. All right, it is 6:50 on Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news at 7 o'clock, Joan.
Yeah, so coming up here in the news, the armed man who was shot and killed by the National Guardsmen in Memphis over the weekend. Tell you about that story coming up here at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mendes here, Generator Super Center. One of your biggest priorities in life is to protect your family. And if the power goes out in your neighborhood, you need to get it back on quickly. You need the Generator Super Center. Now, you've seen the horror stories of power being out for hours, days, or weeks on end at a time. The Generator Super Center, they do provide backup home standby generators at a terrific price and outstanding customer service. As a matter of fact, go to their website right now. Find out how you can save $500. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out, Generator Super Center of Nashville.com, and see how you can get started. Now, they do feature turnkey installation, certified plumbers and electricians, and service after the install, and a whole lot more. So, the power goes out in your neighborhood, you've got a backup power generator, so your power goes right back on. At the Generator Super Center, they also have their generators made right here in America. 615-879-1952. 615-879-1952. Don't forget to check out that website, Generator Super Center of Nashville.com, and see how you can save $500. Dan Mandis here at DT McCall's. Today is the last day of this great sale going on right now at DT McCall's. Now, listen to this. You go to DT McCall's right now, you pay no sales tax if your total purchase reaches $1,776. That's right. You spend $1,776 and you won't pay any sales tax at DT McCall's. That is a huge savings. Now, all the biggest savings on the biggest brands like Lazy Boy, Liberty Safes, Dutch Craft mattresses, and select appliances like Frigidaire, Electrolux, Sharp, and a whole lot more. So today is the last day for this sale. You pay no sales tax if your total purchase reaches $1,776. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. DT McCall's is the website. DT McCall and Sons, serving Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. See store for complete details. Valid on in-stock items only. Not available at the Franklin location. $6.54, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open. 615-737-9986. 615-737-WWTN. Coming up after the news at 7. Joan, I don't know if you heard this.
What's that?
Whole bunch of white nationalists were in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
You know, all right.
No, we're not going to do it now.
Okay.
After the news at 7.
I have thoughts, and I think a lot of people do.
Dana Bash, did you, Dana Bash, will you press Donald Trump to condemn white nationalism? I heard that. It's like my eyes started rolling in the back of my head. Are we really going to go through all this again? So we're going to talk about it. Getting all choked up.
Oh, man. Do you
we're
need
going to talk about
I think
that.
you need some throat coat, yeah?
Yeah, talk for a second, Joan.
All right. So, this weekend, of course, you did this story on the overnight show on the Red Eye Radio Show.
I did, and I wonder why my voice is going out.
Yeah, well, I know, right? So, and you've got a whole week of this going on. So,
yeah, but it's okay. So, have you? Did you see the headline on Thursday night? Secret Service agents knew Thomas Crooks had a rifle and made his way onto a rooftop in Butler, Pennsylvania with a clear shot at Donald Trump.
What?
They never issued a word to the president's own protective detail.
Heads should be rolling.
On Thursday, right before the July 4th weekend, what did we see? We saw the Inspector General, and you know, Joan, obviously, what an Inspector General is, but for people that don't, the Inspector General is basically an in-house investigatory arm of the federal government. They're kind of like human resources.
Yeah.
So we're finding out even more how badly the Secret Service performed the day that Donald Trump was almost assassinated. So the Daily Mail and some other places covered this story. But what I'm fascinated about, why would they release this story about the failures of the Secret Service on the Thursday before the 4th of July weekend? Like, why are they trying to protect the Secret Service? So Secret Service agents, again, knew Thomas Crooks had the rifle and was on that rooftop in Butler, Pennsylvania, with a clear shot at Donald Trump, never telling the president's own protective detail. According to the report, were you going to say, Joan?
I was going to say, go ahead, talk about the report, because I have a couple of extra details here.
According to the report, the Secret Service missed multiple opportunities to detect, prevent, and disrupt Thomas Crooks' attempted assassination of Donald Trump during the July 13th episode in the midst of the 2024 political campaign. Hard to believe that's 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, had the communication been in place, which clearly it wasn't, because they had not only technical problems, but the Secret Service just wasn't communicating with anybody.
Yeah, so what I have here is the 64-page report outlines Secret Service's shortcomings, saying members failed to receive 102 radio transmissions from local authorities concerning a, quote, increasingly intense search for a suspicious person. According to the report, Secret Service only received 5 phone calls and 3 text messages about the shooter, later identified, of course, as Thomas Crooks. The calls included reports that Crooks had a rangefinder and a long gun and had taken a position on top of the American Glass Research International Complex roof, where he had a line of sight right to President Trump.
If you think about it, had they communicated with Donald Trump's detail there on the ground, just feet away from the president, then it's possible that Crooks would not have taken those shots. It's possible that the man who was shot and killed would still be alive.
Yeah.
Because if they had ushered Donald Trump off the stage and he is surrounded by Secret Service, maybe Thomas Crooks does not take that shot. So apparently, a couple of other issues real quick. The shooter flew a drone over the rally site for 9 minutes undetected. 9 minutes. Apparently, the Secret Service counter drone system was not working. It was also being handled by a single undertrained operator. The result was also, they say the equipment was also not tested before the event. The advanced teams missed line of sight vulnerabilities. That meant that Crooks was able to get on that roof and fire at Donald Trump from that elevated position. So there's so many different mistakes that were made, and there were so many failures of equipment, et cetera, that, I mean, this report is incredibly damning. And I hope that they learn from this. The amazing thing is, Joan, is that no one has been fired.
Yeah. See,
no
that's
one has
so
been
wrong.
fired.
Yep.
That's
crazy.
I called Joan drone. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I did.
I was trying to look past it.
Drone Joan.
Yeah.
All right, got to go. 7 o'clock, WTN.
Good morning, now 7 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A full forecast and traffic still to come. An 8-year-old girl was hit by falling gunfire as she and her family were waiting for the fireworks display to begin in downtown Nashville on Independence Day. Here's News 2 on that story.
Says the 8-year-old felt some pain and then pulled a bullet fragment from her back. She's now being treated at the hospital. Police do not yet know where that gunfire came from.
A woman was hit by falling celebratory gunfire last year in the very same spot. It happened at the Green Stage near First Avenue South and Demonbreun. An armed man shot and killed by National Guardsmen in Memphis over the holiday weekend. Action News 5 there in Memphis. The reporter is Garner Montgomery. He says 20-year-old Tyron Johnson aimed his firearm at police.
MPD says they were responding to a shots fired call and were pursuing an armed suspect with Tennessee National Guard soldiers assigned to the area joining the chase.
Usually I just see him walking around, maybe hanging out, but I've never seen anyone antagonize them or anything.
Police say the suspect turned towards the National Guardsman with his weapon. That's when TBI says 2 guards fired at Johnson. National Guard officials say first aid was provided before Johnson was pronounced dead at the scene.
The fact that people feel like they need to, flash weapons at National Guard members is crazy. He put his life at risk, and he put others' lives at risk as well.
Yeah, that incident took place after a fireworks display had ended well into the morning hours of Sunday. Former Tennessee State Senator Jim Tracy has died. Tracy represented the 14th District covering Bedford, Moore, and parts of Rutherford counties. Tracy was appointed by President Trump to serve as the Tennessee State Director for USDA Rural Development in 2017. No official cause of death released. Tracy was 69 years old. A fresh chance to see how U.S. foreign policy is received by American allies overseas. President Trump is heading to Turkey today for meetings with NATO leaders.
We've got a lot of tension with our NATO allies. The president has repeatedly blasted them for not supporting the war in Iran, claiming they were not there for us. And also, he's repeatedly over the last year slammed our NATO allies for not spending enough on their own defense.
Yeah, ABC's Selena Wang there. President Trump is planning to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Syria's President Ahmad al-Shara on the sidelines. A hard landing for a Long Island seaplane in New York City's East River yesterday.
The landing caused one of the struts to break, forcing the plane to lean to one side. One wing in the water. 8 people were rescued. 2 suffered minor injuries. The charter company says the seaplane was operated by Acadia Aviation. It's not clear what's to blame for the hard landing. The FAA now investigating. A preliminary report is expected this week.
That's ABC's Hannah Battah. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. It's mixed now on the futures market. The Dow futures down 48, but the NASDAQ futures gaining 334. S&P futures are plus 31. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Ticket Jones, 704, Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. If you've been suffering from chronic back, neck, and knee pain, well, they can help you like they've helped so many others across Middle Tennessee. Whether it is non-surgical spinal decompression or their brand new Medical Bay 1, the Wellness Institute of Nashville, they've always got the latest and greatest technology to help get you off the sidelines and back in the game. Now, they did it for me years ago, and they can do it for you today. Now, the Medical Bay 1, right now, they have a great deal going on. You mention my name, you get $33 off of each visit. Again, when you mention my name and you want to use Medical Bay 1. And basically, it is called the Epic Spinal Special. What is Medical Bay 1? It uses red light technology and stem cell stimulation to issue regeneration for tissue regeneration and healing. So have an active summer and feel like the person you used to be, courtesy of the Wellness Institute of Nashville. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, painisbad.com.
Watching Donaldson this morning. Donaldson Pike, north of McCampbell Avenue, is blocked off. Now, Traffic Center isn't sure why yet. Hopefully, we'll get some eyes on that and some information about it within a couple of minutes here. In Midtown, they're still working an accident scene on Elliston Place at 23rd Avenue involving some injuries. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
7:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well. And welcome on in to a Monday, July 6th. All right, so big news over the weekend. White nationalists were in Washington, D.C. Now, air quote, white nationalists. I am incredibly skeptical of this whole thing, but there's a number of things going on here. Number one, though, is that the media is really desperately trying to push this narrative of the white nationalists. Now, we'll talk about some of the specifics here in a second, but if you're watching on Super Talk TV, there is a photograph. And it's the photograph of a black woman sitting on a bus surrounded by white nationalists, right? So you've got all of these, masked men with, I don't know, whatever a white nationalist cap is. But, apparently they're all wearing khakis. They're wearing like matching outfits and matching masks and the whole thing. You have this woman in the midst of all of this, and people are calling it an iconic image of this woman sitting on a bus. And it's this image, the black woman sitting on a bus surrounded by dozens of white guys with their faces covered, from the New York Post. Hundreds of members of the Patriot Front wore masks and khakis and sunglasses and hats to the Capitol. Some of them paraded around upside-down American flags. Others carried Confederate flags as they marched through Washington, D.C. New York Post also reporting some were seen in videos chanting slogans such as Life, Liberty, Victory, and Reclaim America. Again, the group called Patriot Front. They have been described as, now this is important, they've been described as one of the leading white supremacist groups in the country. Joan, do you know how many members this Patriot Front has, according to the New York Post, one of the leading white supremacist groups in America? How many members do they have?
Oh, probably hundreds of thousands, Dan.
200.
Yeah.
200 members. I mean,
sounds like just enough to be part of a certain branch of a certain three-letter agency.
So in a country of 300 million people or so, you've got a couple hundred members. Now, they also go on to say, the New York Post, apparently there were like 400 white nationalists in Washington, D.C. Now, you know what we didn't see? We didn't see this black woman on the bus surrounded by white nationalists. Joan, we didn't see this woman raped or murdered or harassed or stabbed in the neck or beaten. That's what we didn't see. Assuming these were all actually white nationalists. Because I'm thinking, okay, were they employed by the Southern Poverty Law Center? That was one of my initial things. So what we have here is a bunch of guys, assuming it's all legit, okay? Just assuming it's all legit. What we have here is a bunch of guys who have views that I would disagree with. Now, you'll have people online talking about how this organization is simply pro-American values and pro-law and order and ending immigration and ending support for Israel and so on and so forth. I'm not defending this group. I'm saying that others are. But my point is that we have every right to say what we want in this country. Up to a point, obviously, you can't threaten people. But Dana Bash over at CNN had Doug Burgum on, of course, Interior Secretary, asking if she would ask President Trump to condemn these people, to condemn these people coming to Washington, D.C. Listen to this.
As Interior Secretary, will you recommend to the president that he condemn this group and what they were trying to message, what they did try to message here in Washington?
Well, there have been, Dan, a part of my
response to that is that there are protests on the mall that people say things that I think are irreprehensible about President Trump, and yet they're allowed to go on because of free speech in our country. And so this is something. But you've seen President Trump. I was with him in North Dakota. I was with him at Mount Rushmore. I was with him
white
last
nationalism. It's as you said, a part of America's history that still has pockets, but the fact that they were here in Washington on such an important day, I do want to move on.
But I do think, again, I mean,
you know what's funny, Joan? So you'll notice, and you've got some experience with Dana Bash, you'll notice she said twice now, I want to move on, but then she starts talking again.
Yeah.
I think she knows that she was talking herself into a corner. It's like, Joan, these are white nationalists.
Yes.
Right? So bottom line is Doug Burgum is absolutely right. We have freedom of speech in this country. We have freedom of expression in this country. But can somebody tell me, again, assuming these are real white nationalists, and we have no idea, but here's the deal. They didn't murder anybody. They didn't rape anybody. They didn't vandalize any buildings. They didn't burn any cop cars. I'm not defending white nationalists, but I'm just telling you, those are all the things that they didn't do. Here's more.
Pockets, but the fact that they were here in Washington on such an important day, I do want to move on.
But I do think, again, I mean, there are people that are saying death to Israel and death to America. I mean, this is part of free speech in America. They can say it. We can object to it. But it is something that comes with free speech in America.
Right. And by the way, this woman, again, not to belabor the point, but that's what I do. I belabor. So this woman got off the bus all in one piece, which is more than we can say for Irina Zarutska, which a lot of people were talking about over the weekend. So for me, it's like this is the media's dream, if you know what I mean.
You know,
bunch of white supremacists in Washington, D.C. on the 4th of July.
Did you put your fingers up in air quote? The white supremacists?
Yeah, you know,
because
white supremacists.
They're masked. So we don't know. We can't tell who they really are.
Mm-hmm.
We can't tell if they're people who are actually on the left dressed up as white supremacists. And we know the people on the left like to dress up as something other than what they are.
Oh, we've seen that before.
Yeah, we sure have.
We've seen that before.
And we've also seen, you know, that how many times have you seen the racist something or another that happens and it turns out it's actually somebody on the left that's doing it to make the right look bad.
Right.
I mean how many times do you have to see it before we go, yeah, this looks like something out of a playbook?
Well, and the media will play right into it. That's why all the media outlets were putting up this picture of this woman in this bus surrounded by all the white supremacists. Mm-hmm. And by the way, if that woman was being attacked, I would say that because one of their things is law and order, I'd be willing to bet that those white supremacists would come to her aid. Matter of fact, if you look statistically at, you know, black on black crime and so on and so forth, and who commits rapes and murders and these kinds of things, statistically speaking, she is safer in that bus with a bunch of white guys.
Yeah.
Hate to say it. I know it sounds awful.
You
Sometimes
racist,
it
you.
makes people feel a little uncomfortable, but you know what? All you got to do is look at the stats.
You're a racist.
Anyway. So I don't know. So you want to do a Daily Dan poll? Were these really? You want to do a Daily Dan poll, Joan? By the way, did you do a Daily Dan poll on Thursday?
You know, I didn't do a Daily Dan poll on anything. I know. I didn't realize the power of the station.
Yeah. Well, usually that power is not working between like 5 and 7:30 every single morning. There's usually something that goes wrong. Anyway, well, you know, apparently the station can't handle my vast power and great ideas.
Yeah.
Because things always seem to break in the early morning hours. Anyway,
you
whatever.
overload the system, Tan.
I'm not going to dwell on it. Is the cameras working yet? Anyway, so yes, they are finally. All right. So you want to do you believe that they were real white supremacists in Washington, D.C.?
So it's a yes or no?
It's a yes or no.
Okay.
Yeah. And so where are you at, Joan? Are you a yes or a no?
Come on. No way. They were not white supremacists.
All right. And then Joan Jones, without evidence, said that they were not real white supremacists.
Thank you. All
right. Very good.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm with Joan.
Sam is with Joan. All right.
Evidence may be circumstantial. They don't act like
well,
real white
so
supremacists.
you know what Sam's opinion is? Sam's opinion is that because white supremacists apparently, and I actually don't know any white supremacists, but look in the mirror, Mandis. You know what? That's what people are saying. So I would be willing to bet. Sam says that white supremacists don't, like dress up in matching outfits like NSYNC.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So I drove for Amazon, met a lot of interesting people in my time delivering for Amazon, delivered all over very rural areas from Camden, Tennessee to Adairville, Kentucky. And there are some people who have some very strong opinions about other groups of people in this country, and they will let you and your other coworkers of various ethnicities and races know about it on the front end. Then they don't care. They're not going to hide who they are. They're going to keep ordering their stuff, and you're going to keep bringing it to them despite their opinions.
So let's see.
And just the fact that they don't keep quiet. And so if they were really white supremacists, they would have been yelling at this woman to get out of their way.
Or getting her out of her seat.
Yeah.
Like they let her sit down, right?
Or
and then somebody took a picture, right? Somebody took a picture of her. Who was it that took the picture?
Somebody on the super text line said this whole thing stinks of a setup. Let's get the well, here's the other thing. There's literally nobody on this bus other than this one black woman and all of these white supremacists.
Yeah.
So
that's convenient.
Starting to seriously
Joan.
get Rosa Parks vibes.
Joan.
What?
Sam. This is an iconic photo.
Iconic.
It is a defining image of America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much propaganda there is? Absolutely.
So where is the investigation into this? Where's the investigation to how everybody ended up with the same cute outfit? Like, they obviously ordered everyone's outfit from the same place.
Okay, so again, I don't know any white supremacists.
They don't have a uniform?
Well, no, that's my question. So do white supremacists actually, do they have like a uniform?
The only element of a white supremacist that I've ever seen uniformity across of is appreciation for the rebel battle flag. That's about it.
All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to get on Grok and ChatGPT and ask it whether or not these, like, traditionally do white supremacists have matching outfits like NSYNC?
Okay, well,
or the Backstreet Boys, because that.
If you say that broadly, it's going to go, well, yeah, the KKK, they all wore white hoods and gowns.
No, well, ask it the right way. You're smart. Come on, Sam. Didn't Sam tell us, Joan, earlier today, as a matter of fact, that he's got
smart he was?
Bachelor's degree
in basket weaving?
Yeah. So anyway,
did I fix the problems?
And by the way,
he did.
You did
fixed
actually.
The problems.
Fairness. But here's the other thing, and I'm just kidding about the matching outfits like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. But I mean, the reality is that here's an easy way to find out. Just find out who ordered like 200 of the same matching outfits. That's all you got to do.
So even Grok spits it out as, no, white supremacists as a broad category do not have a single universal uniform. The traditional ones would be the Ku Klux Klan or neo-Nazis and skinheads with the classic racist skinhead look, having the shaved head, steel-toed boots, specifically Doc Martens with laces. Okay. And then they're saying the modern coded or mainstream looks would be polo shirts and khakis.
Oh, there you go.
And then, of course, Patriot Front gets mentioned in group-specific outfits. So, I mean, it's not a, you get to KKK, but typically...
Why hasn't anybody, like, infiltrated the group? You know, like, claim to be a white supremacist and then start to... who would...
Just infiltrating that group? Somebody did.
Reporting from the inside.
Didn't Andy know? I don't know if it was the Patriot Front, but Andy Ngo was able to infiltrate. All right, here's the deal, folks. I don't know if this is real or not. I don't know if it's fake. I don't know any of that. But what I can tell you is that there is a part of me that is very sus on this whole thing. But I'm just going by, let's assume that it is real, because here's the deal. I can't prove that it's not real, right? I can't prove that this is all funded by the Southern Poverty Law Center or the FBI or whatever. I can't prove any of that. So I'm going to go with this is all real. So what? What crimes did they commit? Not a one. So Dana Bash saying to the Doug Burgum, the Interior Secretary, will you convince Donald Trump to condemn these white supremacists and white supremacy? And it's like, oh my God. By the way, meantime, real quick, and people are saying, yeah, it's clearly a setup. There was...
Well, and they were first, Patriot Front was kind of brought to light in 2017 during the Charlottesville riots.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Did we? We didn't even do traffic. So let's real quick, Joan, just let's not bother with the sounder and all that. Just, Joan, give me an update on what is happening with the traffic.
Okay, so now we have a little bit more information about a closure in Donaldson on Donaldson Pike. It's between Woodbury Drive and Colonial Circle. Now, NDOT is saying that there is a hazard in that area, but they're not really saying what that hazard is. And also a crash in Midtown at Elliston Place and 23rd Avenue North. So that's all there is going on in traffic at this very moment.
All right, very good. 7:23. Joan, what's coming up in the news?
So we have that a man was found dead in his jail cell over the weekend. There's some incredible links to this story to something else that happened earlier in the week last week. I'll explain coming up in the news at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 7:23. Super Talk 99.7. Celebrate America's 250th birthday by declaring your independence from low testosterone at Low T Center. Now, you can start with a free T-test, stay on treatment for 90 days, and you can get $250 back. It is the Low T Center's 250 for 250, and it is going on right now. I mean, listen, guys, if you've lost a step or two, energy levels are down, brain fog, and a lack of motivation, don't ignore the signs of low testosterone. Do yourself a favor and go to fixmylowt.com and get tested, get answers, and get your life back. Now, you deserve it. A lot of guys, maybe they're embarrassed to go get tested. It does happen to a lot of guys, the smart ones. Seek answers and get help. Low T Center is the place you need to go. Don't forget that great deal. You can start with a free T-test, stay on treatment for 90 days, and get $250 back. It is the Low T Center's 250 for 250. It is going on right now. Visit fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com and book your free T-test. Offer ends on July 31st. Terms and conditions apply. 729, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and welcome on into Nashville's Morning News, Monday, July 6th of 2026. By the way, so as everyone is trying to figure out if these white nationalists were real or fake, we could go on and on about that. But here's the other part of what happened over the last couple of days. The Department of Homeland Security has now confirmed that a semi-truck driver has been charged with the killing of a Pennsylvania state trooper. That truck driver, wait for it, was a Haitian illegal alien who flew in under Joe Biden under his mass parole program in 2024, got his CDL in the sanctuary state of Massachusetts. I've got questions coming up next on WTN.
Good morning. Now 7:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, your full forecast, and traffic coming up in 5. A man arrested last week in Clarksville after police sicked a canine dog on him has died in jail. 34-year-old Darius Chappelle found unresponsive in his cell during a routine security check about 3 a.m. on Friday. But investigators have not released the cause of his death. Here's News 2's Kelly Milan.
The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office says its Criminal Investigations Division completed a preliminary investigation before turning the case over to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. The TBI is now leading the investigation into Chappelle's death, while the Clarksville Police Department continues its separate review of the canine use of force incident.
Now, we don't know why he was arrested last week that prompted police to use the canine. And again, we don't know the cause of death. More than a dozen people injured in a multi-vehicle crash on I-24 near the Kentucky border on Sunday. Hopkinsville police and fire say that a tractor trailer crashed into 7 other vehicles just before 4 yesterday afternoon near the mile marker number 91. 14 people taken to area hospitals, and that means it upgraded the incident to what they call a mass casualty event. Fortunately, all the injuries were non-life-threatening. We still don't know what caused that tractor trailer to crash into the other cars. The man accused of killing Charlie Kirk in Utah last September is set to appear in front of a judge this week for evidence and testimony against him.
10 months after Tyler Robinson allegedly shot and killed Charlie Kirk during a speech at Utah Valley University, only a few miles north of the courthouse here, today Robinson is set to have his preliminary hearing. It'll be like a mini trial, and it's expected to last all week as prosecutors try to prove to a judge they have enough evidence to take the case to trial. For the first time, evidence and testimony will be presented against Robinson, and for the first time, Charlie Kirk's parents and his wife Erica will attend court. Alex Stone, ABC News, Provo, Utah.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 732. Dan Mandis here. You know, whether we're talking about waterproofing, concrete leveling, or foundation repair, my friends at USS, they are the best here in Tennessee. Now, these types of issues, they don't get better over time. They actually get worse without the proper fix. You know that, they know that, and they are here to help you. Now, they've helped me over the years with my foundation. I can tell you from personal experience that they treated me right. Communication was outstanding. The work was excellent. And customer service was top notch with United Structural Systems. Now, these folks at USS, they've been helping Middle Tennesseans for a long time because they do it right and they are going to treat you right. And by the way, if you don't have the money right now to fix whatever ails your home, they can help you with special financing. Listen to this. Get a 10% discount when you pay in full, or fix it now, pay later with 18 months, no payment, no interest, or choose the 36 months, no interest with low payment option for qualified homeowners. So call them and tell them Dan told you to reach out at 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, USSTN.com.
Still working on some sort of hazard on Donaldson Pike between Woodbury Drive and Colonial Circle. It's blocked off in that area this morning. And there's a dense fog advisory for Franklin and Spring Hill area, but we're hearing that there's heavy fog and it's pretty thick too in the Manchester area as well and some other areas. So be careful this morning. It may take you a few extra minutes to get to work. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I need some audio, if I could, Sam. So we're talking about, really, do you know what got my ire up about this story, Joan? About the white nationalists, and again, I am putting that in air quotes, but it was the question from Dana Bash to Doug Burgum.
Yeah. As Interior Secretary, will you recommend to the president that he condemn this group and what they were trying to message, what they did try to message here in Washington?
Well, there have been, Nana, part of my response to that is that there are protests on the mall that people say things that I think are irreprehensible about President Trump, and yet they're allowed to go on because of free speech in our country.
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely right. So then my question would be this. Ask Dana Bash if she will condemn the story about this Haitian illegal alien who got his license, his CDL, from the state of Massachusetts, and he was flown in under the Biden administration under his mass parole program in 2024. So you have this Pennsylvania state trooper who was on the side of the road, I guess, and he is checking out another accident, and this Haitian illegal alien runs right over him. And so my question is this. Will Dana Bash get the governor of Massachusetts, Maura Healey? Will Dana Bash get the governor of Massachusetts and ask if she condemns the senseless death of this Pennsylvania state trooper? How about the mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu? How about Elizabeth Warren or Ed Markey, the two senators? Will they be asked to condemn the death, the senseless death of this law enforcement officer? Because I got to tell you what, there have been, and I saw a stat, I don't remember, there have been a handful of these, hasn't there, Joan? There's been a handful of these illegal alien truck drivers that have killed American citizens.
Absolutely.
And it's been like a rash. It's been an epidemic of this problem. So that would be my question is, hey, Dana Bash, if you're so worried about white supremacy and you want to know if Donald Trump is going to condemn it, I would like to know if you will ask all of these various politicians that have something to do with the senseless death of this Pennsylvania state trooper. Will you ask them if they condemn the fact that this guy was flown into America under the Biden administration and was given a CDL in the state of Massachusetts? By the way, you also had this, as you just heard Doug Burgum say, you know what? Look at all of these different protests that are happening on the mall on this 4th of July weekend, and I just happened to find this one. You ready? Listen to this.
Death to the USA! Death to the USA! Death to the USA! Death to the USA! Death to the USA!
We're not free till everybody is free! Happy birthday, you!
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 So, in case you didn't get all that, you have these folks screaming, F the police. They're screaming, we're not free till we're all free, which is basically a defund the police and abolish all prisons kind of a thing. And happy birthday, F you, talking to America. And, of course, death to the USA. So is Dana Bash, is she hand-wringing over this? Of course not. So we have all of these things. And by the way, I think we all agree that what they're saying is abhorrent. But do they have every right to say it? Yeah, they do. As long as they're not threatening anybody, then they have their right to say it. I have no idea if they had permits, folks. I have no idea about any of that stuff. But the point remains the same, is that we all have our freedom of speech. So for me, with the whole, Dana Bash thing and the white Nazis, or the white nationalists and all that stuff, it's just whatever. Now, you were telling me something, Sam, off the air, that Elizabeth Warren has a staffer who was mourning the loss of Iran's leader.
Yeah, so I wanted to clarify to make sure I had everything straight. Staffer's kind of a fancy term for this, but she worked as a high schooler on her career in her presidential run. She's donated to a lot of her campaign stuff. She votes left. All right, and this is the progression of the left. Her name is Kala Walsh. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, Kala Walsh, and she attended Khamenei's funeral in Iran and said that Ayatollah Khamenei was the greatest anti-imperialist of our time.
Oh my!
And praised him.
Wow.
And also, death to America.
No.
That's where this leads, where it all eventually goes.
Did you ever think that, because, and Joan, you and I are people of a certain age. Sam, you may not remember all of this, but, when years ago, we would all be horrified that in Iran's parliament and so forth, and in the dusty streets of Iran, they were always screaming death to America. Now it's happening here. We were all appalled when it was happening in Iran. And now we've got these absolutely insane people that are screaming death to America in our own city streets. And again, they're allowed to do it. That is their freedom of speech. So anyway, it is one of those things where...
Oh, there was a Muslim activist in New York, by the way, the other day. I guess he's a streamer named Sneeko. During an Egyptian World Cup street gathering, was saying, Takbir, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, this is the Islamic Republic of New Yorkistan. Islam will be in every household.
Okay.
Happening in our streets.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've come a long way and not in the correct direction, I think is what I would say about all that. Phil Williams went after Monty Fritz. I covered this extensively when it happened. Monty's going to be here at 8:06. So Phil Williams going after Monty Fritz. This was back on June 24th. So we're going to talk about this coming up next because Monty is now going to give a reaction to the accusations made by Phil Williams. We are going to talk about what exactly those questions and accusations are coming up next, and then we'll welcome Monty in at 8:06 here on Nashville's Morning News. Why is Monty coming into Nashville's Morning News? We'll talk about it coming up next. It's time to check the roads on WTN.
Midtown, Elston Place, we've got an accident at 23rd Avenue North. Donaldson Pike is blocked between Woodbury Drive and Colonial Hazard. No problems on 40 or 65. No unusual delays on 24 or 440. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as your weather goes, today, possible thunderstorms this afternoon and a high of 88. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. So Phil Williams, I did this story back on June 24th, Channel 5. He did a hit piece on Monty Fritz. And so I wanted to sort of review in preparation for Monty coming in at 8:06. So we all know that Phil, speaking of white nationalism, we all know that Phil has been on this crusade against white nationalism here in the state of Tennessee. And again, I think he's calling it when hate comes to Main Street or whatever. But he's been targeting Monty Fritz. Now, I saw this headline, and by the way, this is audio only, Sam, audio only. I saw this headline. He despises Jews, admires Hitler. Now he's starring in videos for a Tennessee candidate for governor. I knew that was a hit piece on Monty Fritz. And by the way, I like Monty Fritz. So then subheadline, Dane Chisholm appears in videos for Republican candidate for governor, Monty Fritz. And so the piece that ran on TV talks about, again, this guy named Dane Chisholm. I would say he's a reprehensible guy who has said all kinds of things. And I want you to listen to this piece of audio.
If you guys are smart, you'll vote for Monty Fritz, Christian constitutional conservative.
He is the star of a pair of social media videos for Tennessee gubernatorial candidate Monty Fritz. But who is he? Tonight, an exclusive News Channel 5 investigation uncovers that man's troubling history of racism and anti-Semitism.
And if you have any doubt, consider this. That star in those Monty Fritz videos thinks Adolf Hitler was a great man. News Channel 5 chief investigative reporter Phil Williams has been digging into the story behind the videos. Question is, did the Fritz campaign pay for those videos?
Well, the star of those videos tells me he produced them as part of Monty Fritz's team of campaign volunteers. The question is, did the Republican candidate for governor know about this man's controversial views?
So that was how it was framed on Channel 5. Now, notice how this is edited together, right? You've got this guy, Chisholm, saying horrific things. And in the very next cut, they tie in Nick Fuentes and his statements with this guy's support for Monty Fritz. So listen close.
Yet I had questions after Fritz's campaign began posting these videos on social media.
Yeah, check him out. Monty Fritz.
From a bearded man wearing an America First cap. On the back of the cap, the initials for Nicholas J. Fuentes.
What Hitler represents is if white people didn't give a f***.
Fuentes is the white nationalist anti-Semitic figure whose followers are known as Groypers.
And if you guys are smart, you'll vote for Monty Fritz, Christian constitutional conservative. He don't take no money from Israel.
And that man in the Monty Fritz video I discovered is Dane Chisholm from East Tennessee. On X, he describes himself as a Christian who fearlessly speaks the truth. And Monty Fritz, the candidate for governor, follows him.
All right, so you'll see, Joan, how that whole thing is framed, right?
It's incredible.
So Monty Fritz follows this guy on Twitter.
Yes.
Okay, so just following someone or reposting tweets is not a sign that you agree with their statements, worldview, or ideology. And everybody knows that, except for apparently Phil Williams. So this guy, and I talked about this at the time, has a total of 1,744 followers on X, not a lot. Phil, though, read some of his tweets.
On Easter, Chisholm posted this video comparing Hitler to Jesus. Here posting that Hitler was a great man. We've been lied to. We know it. Here saying the Nazi leader's actions were justified by the necessity of security or defense of his people, to which Jews were internationally plotting to destroy. Here suggesting COVID was part of a Jewish plot. Here that the Jews did kill Jesus and they have been a malevolent force throughout history. Here he posted, Jews only lie when they breathe, telling one person, quote, shut up, Jew rat.
So the question is, did Monty know who this guy was? And Monty's here. And we're going to find out from Monty himself what he's got to say about this and what exactly is his response to the questions from Phil Williams. Now, personally, we'll have to see what Monty has to say. I'm looking forward to hearing it. But it's important to note that this is not the kind of content that Dane Chisholm actually posted to the socials of Monty Fritz, or what Monty Fritz posted to his socials. It wasn't this Nazi stuff. It was, and I need video here, if I could, Sam. It was actually just asking about Marsha Blackburn, Senator Marsha Blackburn, not willing to debate.
Dominic, let me ask you one simple question. Do you believe that people who are running for governor ought stand up and debate their beliefs in front of the populace before the election?
Yes, sir.
And you would say that's just kind of common sense, right?
Yeah.
And you would say that if somebody wasn't willing to do that, they probably shouldn't get our vote?
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate you. God bless you. So we're going around downtown Knoxville today asking people if they think that people who are running for governor ought at least debate their principles and their beliefs for the public before the election happens?
I think they should.
All right. So, and by the way, Sam points out that first gentleman was a black person, and this white supremacist shook that black man's hand.
After he said, "I appreciate you."
That's exactly right. So he's obviously, again, referencing Senator Marsha Blackburn, who won't debate in this race. But that is the example that Channel 5 posted in their online report. A roughly 3-minute video of him going around simply asking questions. He also, by the way, talks about Monty not accepting money from PACs. That was also part of his video.
I think you should look into Monty Fritz, and there's 2 reasons why. One, he's extremely constitutional, and he's for the people. He's not a career politician, and he takes 0 foreign funding. 0 money from APAC, 0 money from big PACs, 0 money from big pharma. So you would think somebody who doesn't take a bunch of PAC money is probably less of a slave to the establishment than the others, right?
I would think so.
I appreciate you.
All right, so there you go. Dane Chisholm. 1,744 followers on Twitter. Phil keeps breathlessly reporting about how white nationalism is on the rise here in Tennessee. And I asked this at the time we originally ran this piece. If that's the case, why doesn't this guy have a massive following? He's from here in Tennessee. So he makes these videos. Apparently, he sends them to the campaign. Monty Fritz, they post it to their socials. Then we find out the dude, anti-Semitic. Did Monty know about this person's views? We'll find out from Monty what his response is coming up. By the way, Dane Chisholm did mention or comment on the report from Channel 5. He says this: there are a few intentional lies in this report that are irrelevant and typical, but there's one that I will not ignore. Dane Chisholm says, I would never compare Jesus Christ with any man. There is no such thing. Christ is King of kings and Lord of lords, the Savior of all mankind, perfect and incomparable to any man before or after him. He says, in no way did I compare the attributes, character, or person, etc. of Jesus Christ with Adolf Hitler. So that is what Dane Chisholm said. So the questions about Monty Fritz. Did you know that, this guy had these kind of videos? I'm assuming that people are calling for him to apologize. What is his reaction to all of this? Will he pull down the videos of Dane Chisholm, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Monty Fritz is going to be joining us a little after 8 right here on Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news coming up at 8. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, why Dolly Parton is asking for a newly married couple's firstborn child. Yeah, I'll explain. Coming up in the news at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, thank you, Joan. And Dan Mandis here. For my friends at Brentwood Jewelry, why should you go to Brentwood Jewelry for all your jewelry needs? Well, why not? They are, simply put, the best jewelry store in Middle Tennessee. It's Brentwood Jewelry. They've got incredible selections of watches for both men and women for any budget, and great selections of Rolexes, both new and used. Now, if pocket knives are your thing, they feature the William Henry collection at Brentwood Jewelry. They are gorgeous. And by the way, if you're getting engaged at Brentwood Jewelry, they've got everything from wedding bands to semi-mount engagement rings and a whole lot more. And by the way, guys, if you're looking for something for that special lady in your life, Brentwood Jewelry does feature incredible bracelets, earrings, and necklaces, and a lot more. And again, all these great prices and selection, outstanding customer service as well. Brentwood Jewelry, they love America just like we do here at WTN. You walk in, flags all over the place. It might have WTN, as a matter of fact, playing on the radio. So find them online, BrentwoodJewelry.com, 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Be sure and tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Brentwood Jewelry, exceptional styles, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. BrentwoodJewelry.com. 7:57, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Monty Fritz is in studio. He's coming up next, and a lot of things that we want to talk about, including Joan Monty has an idea on how to curb human trafficking as well.
Ooh, can't wait to hear that one.
It's going to be an action-packed 30 minutes. I feel all this pressure, Joan, to make this a great interview because Monty drove all the way from Eastern Tennessee 2 hours. This is the way my day's going.
Just to be here?
Yeah, just to be here. Well, thanks, Joan. So what Joan basically Monty is saying is I'm not worth the 2-hour drive.
That.
But Joan, as an indication as to how my day is going, literally I said 2 hours, but I held up 3 fingers. That
all
is
right, Dan.
That is that is how my day's been going. So anyway, looking forward to talking to Monty Fritz. Also, we have a lot of people that are chiming in on the super text line. 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Sam, remind me what our Daily Dan poll was, as I've got 45 seconds left to fill. What was our Daily Dan poll? I know that it was relevant.
It was, were they really white supremacists, referencing the Patriot Front in D.C.?
Yes.
And 83% of the poll takers say no.
Okay.
They were not.
A cynical bunch, the WTN audience, and I absolutely love it. All right, very good. More coming up next right here, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 8 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Stick around. The forecast and traffic still to come here. A pedestrian was killed overnight in South Nashville by a hit-and-run driver. Investigators say that pedestrian was crossing Nolensville Pike near the Walmart Supercenter. Here's Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac.
Right now, investigators are trying to identify that victim and find the driver. Police have not released the victim's age, and they're asking anyone who saw that truck or has video from this area to reach out to them. Now, this is not the first deadly pedestrian crash here on Nolensville Pike this year. Right now, concerns continue to grow about safety along this busy corridor.
Investigators say they're looking for a black pickup truck with front-end damage. In Springfield, a tree came crashing through a home on July 4th. Channel 4's Amber Giant.
And that tree, it smashed right through the center of the home, causing extensive damage to the roof and interior. No injuries were reported, but officials say that the structure is uninhabitable, and the family is getting help from the American Red Cross while repairs are being made.
Yeah, there were no storms, no strong winds, or severe weather at the time, so it's not clear what caused that tree to come down. A lot of speculation over who was behind those masks of a group of people claiming to be white nationalists with Confederate flags marching through Washington, D.C. this July 4th weekend.
Hundreds of people participated in the march, covering their faces and wearing hats featuring the logo of the Patriot Front. The group was heard chanting the words, "Reclaim America." When President Trump's Interior Secretary Doug Burgum was asked about the march, he cited the First Amendment. Now, the Anti-Defamation League says the Patriot Front is responsible for most of the white supremacist propaganda distributed in the U.S.
That's ABC's Karen Waugh. And Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce tied the knot over the weekend in New York City, but before doing so, they donated $2 million to Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, and she responded in video.
Taylor and Travis, it's Dolly, and I was just told that you two are making a donation of $2 million to my Imagination Library. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm blown away and overjoyed with that gratitude. Now, it's evident that you two have made giving back a key part of your lives. So, hey, when you have your firstborn, can I have it? Because that is going to be one special baby.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the couple has agreed to hand over their firstborn to Dolly. Market Numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. We've got Dow futures down 44. The NASDAQ futures up, though, 365. And the S&P futures are up 33 points. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, so on the in Talbot's Corner on 65 southbound side, got a crash that takes out the right shoulder on I-24 north. Just that's on I-65 south at I-24 northbound, the exit there, number 88. In Donaldson, they're still working on a hazard, and I say that with quotes, with air quotes, on Donaldson Pike between Woodbury Drive and Colonial Circle. It's blocked in that area. Not really sure what that hazard is. Whites Creek, 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard North, got a crash involving injuries. And Murfreesboro, Veterans Parkway, both directions between Armstrong Valley Road and New Salem Highway, blocked for some road work. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.806 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well, and welcome on in to the fourth and final hour of Nashville's Morning News for your Monday, July 6th. Monty Fritz, State Rep. Monty Fritz joining us, of course, House District 32, wants to be your next governor. Monty, thanks for coming in.
Hey, Dan, thank you again for having me back in. I appreciate your fairness of time, and it's a pleasure sitting with you, so thank you. I'll say this. All the guys in your station, have been on 3 of these shows, and while we may not agree on everything, I appreciate your candor. I appreciate all y'all's getting the word out. You're doing a great service to the community. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you coming back. Of course, I had you on for an hour. I had John Rose on for an hour. I had Senator Marsha Blackburn on for an hour on, I think it was Wednesday. Because I was gone Thursday and Friday. And my whole point has been to have everybody on to talk about, the issues. I basically asked everyone the same questions. And, my favorite part is people telling me that the questions that I asked were given to me by the Blackburn campaign. It's all just very silly, but I want to move on from there. So before you came on, I think you were on your way up or waiting at the front door, whatever. But I played some of the audio from Phil Williams. I believe that it was Channel 5, and I believe that it was a hit piece on you. And it was basically, asking questions about this guy who was a volunteer for your campaign, a guy by the name of Dane Chisholm. So from what I can tell, and from the piece, Dane is very controversial. Phil called him a white supremacist, whatever. And he has made some very controversial tweets as such. And so turns out Dane has also produced some videos for your website, and you posted said videos. So now the question is, did you know, and this is what Phil was asking, did you know the history of Dane Chisholm or the kind of content that he had put on his social media when you or your team posted his content on your site?
No, I didn't. I'd gotten to know Dane. He is a Christian young man. I think some of what Phil put out on him was irresponsible and not accurate, to be honest with you. He is a very opinionated young man. We all have a right to that.
Sure.
I think that was really an attempt at a cancel culture move here to just kind of shut it down, say enough bad things, and people will hate on you. That's unfortunate. I sat down with Phil and did an interview, and he and I aren't going to agree on everything, but he was very nice to me during the interview. But then you see some of the captions and stuff. They're noticeably inflammatory and often not the exact words that are used.
So are you saying that Phil took what Dane Chisholm posted or said out of context?
I think so. I talked to Dane about it. I think he took some of it out of context and maybe even made some misalignments. He had made some connection because of a hat that Dane was wearing and this Fuentes person.
Nick Fuentes, yeah.
Yes.
Dane, just so people know, Dane was wearing I did not include this in my follow-up that I did in the last segment, but Dane was wearing this Nick Fuentes hat, and so Phil kind of tried to make the connection. Well, he did try to make the connection between Nick Fuentes, Dane Chisholm, to you. So at least to me, he was trying to draw a line between you and a very controversial Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, so I talked to Dane about that, and I felt horrible that, because he had helped a little bit with our campaign, that he had gotten in the crosshairs of the cancel culture media. But actually, Dane and what he showed me, Dane and Fuentes fellow were like disagreeing on things. It wasn't alignment. He said, I wear the hat because I like the hat. I'm an America First person. Again, lots of things that were taken out of the context. I think they were offered according to what Dane has told me. And that happens. That's the unfortunate thing. There's an old maxim that says that few things in life are as they first appear. I've learned in politics almost nothing is that. And we, this whole cancel culture thing, I listened to y'all's show coming in, and horrible things that took place, the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I think there was some irresponsibility of some media sources in that. And whatever happened there in Utah, Charlie Kirk said what he thought. And he was a Christ and Constitution person. And unfortunately, in today's America, that's hated.
Yeah, on the left it is hated. And some people, not all, but some people on the left, not only is it hated, but they feel like you should not have the right to say what you say, but they also want to take away your ability to say it because, as you know, I don't know how often you listen to the show, but I've been talking about this assassination culture on the left now for quite some time, where, there's some folks on the left and they'll say that they're okay with assassinating a Donald Trump or an Elon Musk or a Charlie Kirk if it ultimately helps them to get their higher goal, which is, of course, socialism in America.
Well, that whole end justifies any means is part of the whole Marxist socialist movement, that it's okay to do anything just to get to whatever that end goal is. And that's not America. As a Christian, we're called to love even those who portray themselves as enemies. Mm-hmm. We're called to pray for. We're called to try to be light and salt. I think much of what I probably caught the flack on the Mr. Williams interviews. He asked me if I was a Christian nationalist, and I get that question from time to time since I got elected. And when I boil that down, Dan, Christ and Constitution. You're not hurting my feelings if you call me that.
Can I ask, because I hate labels. I'm just telling you, I hate labels. So what exactly is a Christian nationalist?
Well,
I don't even know what that means.
I think sometimes in today's cancel culture and where we change all the meanings of words and phrases, I don't know what it means to some people. I just broke it down the first time I was asked about that after I was elected the first time. I am a Christian. I'm not going to deny Christ. That has a harsh consequence. Right. And I think our nation, it's not the boundaries, the geographic boundaries. It's not you and I even. We're but a vapor. We're here to pass on to posterity. Our nation is our Constitution. I'm looking at some words from John Jay, Supreme Court Justice, first Supreme Court Justice. Providence has given our people the choice of their ruler, and it is the duty as well as the privilege and interest of our Christian nation to select and prefer Christians for the rulers. That's the first Supreme Court Chief Justice. So when I say that we have a Christian heritage and some people rebut that, they're unread.
So going back to Dane Chisholm, so I want to make sure I put this to bed because I don't want to have to ask you to drive another 2 hours to come here.
Okay.
So do you know if Phil Williams, did he reach out to Dane Chisholm?
He did. Dane told me later. I asked because when I saw some of the stuff, I was concerned about Dane, to be honest with you. I think sometimes there's a lack of responsibility. Here's a U.S. Army vet, deployed a couple times, yes, has some strong opinions about things, Would I use the exact words? Nope. But this is a fine Christian young man, and he's like all of us, imperfect, right? And so I think when you have that cancel culture attack on this young man, if it was just to get to my campaign, that's horrible. Because the death threats that I get, I knew what I was signing up for. I've carried some controversial stuff as a state rep. I'm accustomed to people being threatening. But then you kind of paint that target on this young man from East Tennessee, and I'm just like, that's not cool.
So now you've talked to Dane after the Channel 5 report. You spoke to Dane, and you and he talked about the comments that he made regarding anti-Semitism and the rest of that. You talked to him about all of that. You got from him the proper context. He's not a paid member of your staff. He is a volunteer. How much vetting do you folks do with these volunteers?
I don't know that there's any official vetting. In some cases, you'll get an email and say, I want to put out signs for you. Mm-hmm. I believe in this liberty and less government movement.
Yeah.
And really, we all have the right to think what we want to think. I think that's part of the whole cancel culture and the socialist movement is they want to control our thoughts, Dan. It's more than just what we say. You're not allowed to think that. And that is contrary to both our Christian founding and our Constitution, I think.
So is he still a volunteer?
Yes, absolutely.
If you had seen his tweets, or if there had been more recon on Dane, would you have still allowed the social media posts? Would you have still allowed him to do your social media posts? Granted, he's a volunteer, and what he is putting up on your social media has nothing to do with the stuff that he has posted on his site.
Yes, I would. We might have had some conversations about some of that, and part of our responsibility, we old folks get to be a little bit of a mentor to the younger folks. And there might have been some discussion there about that. But the fact of the matter is, if you really believe that we are at liberty to think what we want to, we shouldn't be getting into the, trying to control what folks think. Actions are different than thoughts. Yeah?
That's true.
Yep.
And I spent the whole previous segment talking about how people can say and think whatever they want in this country, as long as you're not threatening people.
Or defamatory. Yeah.
Or defamatory. Yeah, absolutely. Or defamatory. How is, I'm just kind of curious. So it seemed like Dane was taking all of this pretty much in stride. How's he doing now?
I think okay. Again, my first concern.
He had a target put on his back by Phil Williams.
But yes. And that was probably the part that hurt me the most, is that the collateral damage to just attack this liberty and less government campaign would go to anybody. And in a day when we have lots of young veterans dealing with lots of things, I think it's our responsibility to be an ear and a shoulder, and often a voice of mentorship rather than an attack in many cases. We see that need for that shoulder and that ear. I see it often, and I would just think somebody as old as Phil would not attack a young man like that.
8:18, Nashville's Morning News. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as weather goes, today, possible thunderstorms this afternoon, a high of 88. And Monty Fritz is joining us in studio. All right, Monty, so we all know that there's a lot of human trafficking that runs through the state of Tennessee. You say that you've got at least a suggestion as to how we could try and combat human trafficking in the state of Tennessee. Go.
Well, I think I have lots of ideas on that. One of the things we started actually writing on a couple of years ago was a bill that we just passed this year that requires, to get a license, it will require strip clubs to put up a posting at the entrance, at every entrance, cautioning, if you will, that by participating in that form of entertainment, you may be leading to human trafficking, sexual assault, and rape. And those who purvey pornography and obscene material for rent or for sale or for loan or whatever, the same kind of posting, that the production of that material may have led to or may lead to human trafficking, sexual assault, and rape.
So you want to put, and this is going to be a sign about 8.5 by 11. So your standard piece of paper, it's going to go right on the door?
Yes, it has to be at each entrance is the way the law is written.
Okay. And do you think it'll pass?
It passed. Oh, it passed.
It did pass.
And it's signed into law. It became effective this past week. Yes.
Okay. My bad.
And again,
I don't go to strip clubs, so I have no idea. Whatever.
Well, I don't either. I will tell you, Dan, I think the pornography is worse than fentanyl in many regards. The addictive nature of it. And I think so many people deal with it. And we started to think a couple of years ago about how do we caution that? And I started to think about the labels on a pack of Marlboros or whatever.
Yep.
And I thought, I think that's appropriate because I think it is. I think the clubs where folks dance nude, I think it's degrading to them.
They're called strip clubs, Monty.
Yeah, strip clubs. Yeah, I think it's degrading to women primarily.
Yeah,
I think it's ruinous to our culture. I think that those people who produce pornographic and obscene material should repent and get saved. And I think that we as a state have a responsibility to call out that obscenity as wrong. And so I think we made a good step forward with this bill.
I wonder, is there a next step?
There is. Of course, I won't be in the General Assembly. I term limited to 4 years, but I would suspect that there will probably be some challenges of this at some point in time. That may lead to a next step.
I'm just wondering if it'll work. Like, do you think if a guy, and we're just talking here.
Yeah.
So, but do you think that will prevent guys from going into strip clubs?
Don't know that it will at all, to be honest with you.
When did they go up?
I don't know. Before the license is issued is the way it's written.
So if there'll
be some delay with it as licenses are applied for. Yes.
Okay. So if there is a strip club that already has a license, and then maybe when it's up for renewal is when they'll have to put up their piece of paper?
That's the way the code is written, yes, sir.
All right, so I'm genuinely, hey, Sam, let's do a Daily Dan poll, all right? So just basically you're going to have to write it, but do you believe that a sign on the door of a strip club will prevent guys from going into said strip club?
What does the sign say?
Go ahead. Can I offer just one thing? I think the greatest benefit of these postings is that it makes the assertion that the Tennessee government and the people of Tennessee are not okay with what's taking place. I think that's the greatest strength.
I think, and I would say this, is that it also brings about awareness because I don't believe, because not everybody listens to talk radio, or watches the news, it will bring awareness. That guy may walk in to the strip club, even if he reads the sign. However, he may go home and he may start checking out, okay, so what does this actually mean? And find out about human trafficking.
Yep.
Okay, campaign going well?
It is. We're staying really busy.
Yeah.
The Liberty and Less Government message is received very well across the state. We're headed back to East Tennessee. I've got a couple meetings there this afternoon and tonight. So we're going as hard as we can. We're in that final part of the fourth quarter, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's a sprint. Every day's a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
We speak multiple times per day. We had our first horse stall town hall last week.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we had 4 horses in attendance and a good number of people.
That must have been a barn burner.
It was a barn burner. Yes, that's true. It was great. We had folks come out who weren't agriculture people.
Yeah.
And sit in the dirt to just talk about what's important to Tennessee. And I thought that was a great thing to do.
I don't know whether they're going to win or lose, but it's got to be cool to be able to meet so many Tennesseans from across the state.
It is. And, the message is the same, really, from our West Coast all the way up to the Smokies. The message I get from the Tennesseans is the same. We'd like to not send so many dollars to Nashville. And I also hear we'd like to not send so many to D.C.
Yes.
But, from the governor's perspective, we'd like to see that grocery sales tax taken off, state grocery sales tax. everybody I know wants property tax reform.
Yes.
And I think those are big messages about keeping the money in the pocket. Most people are really upset that we're practicing this corporate welfare in our state government. You know, the most recent discussion has been Starbucks, but there are many that go back. And let's invest in infrastructure rather than corporate welfare. I think that those are popular messages across the state.
All right, so if you missed the hour-long interview that I did with Monty Fritz, so here's what we're working on, because I got so much crap from people having Senator Blackburn in here, and they must have missed the interview that I did with you for an hour or with John Rose. What we're going to do is we're going to post all three of those interviews on my social media. And again, by and large, they were the same questions because that's what I wanted to do and get everybody sort of on the record on these very substantive Tennessee issues. So they're going to be editing those down, and we're going to put all the interviews on my social media, WTN social media as well. So all of those will be covered. And Monty, in our final 30 seconds, got anything else to say as we wrap this up?
I appreciate y'all doing that. That's probably as close as we're going to get to a debate. The others don't want to debate. We've got, I think the public needs to be informed, so I appreciate you're doing that. And I appreciate the opportunity to come in again and talk a little bit about this, the cancel culture thing with Mr. Williams. And I'll ask folks to give me a look. I'd love to have your vote. Work hard to be your next governor.
Remind me the website.
Fritz4, TN.com. Fritz4TN.com.
All right, Monty, always love having you in, and we'll talk again soon. This is 8:26 on Nashville's Morning News. Joan's got the news at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, Dan, a record-breaking 400,000 people in this attending this weekend's Let Freedom Sing celebration in downtown Nashville. More on that coming up at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yes, I agree. Times are tough. And if you need a new car, truck, or minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection and pricing. Now, they've been around, Mid-10 Ford, they've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. Now, right now, you can save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing as well. If you need it, Mid-10 Ford, they've been doing this for a long time. They know how to help you. By the way, they're also a one-stop shop. You can buy your vehicle there. You can get it serviced. They even have a body shop, brand new or pre-owned. You can check out all the great deals at mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales and maximum customer service. Now, this is a family-owned business going back 4 generations, so they know how to treat you. Right. They know how to treat their customers. So let them help you get into your next car, truck, or SUV. Stop by Mid-10 Ford, 1319 Foster Avenue, 615-949-2737. Visit mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They've also got great social media, Facebook and Instagram, Mid-10 Ford, where trust comes first.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A record-breaking 400,000 people attending this weekend's Let Freedom Sing celebration in downtown Nashville. But it was a shot fired into the air during the celebrations that's getting attention this morning. Some of that bullet lodged into the back of an 8-year-old girl. Fortunately, her injuries were only minor, but police say it's not a fluke. It's happened before. In fact, 3 people were injured in separate areas of downtown last year. In South Carolina, police responded to a dangerous 4th of July celebration where shots were being fired and fireworks were being launched at cars. But those police officers responding were pummeled by a group of teenagers.
Officers exited their patrol vehicles to intervene, separate the individuals involved in the fights, and work to restore order and protect the public. During the response, multiple firearms and a makeshift spear were recovered. Multiple officers were physically assaulted, with 2 female officers sustaining minor injuries.
That's Police Chief Ron Camacho there. Those 2 cops were seen on video being stomped to the ground by the teenagers. The Trump administration going after the leadership of the Smithsonian Museums, accusing it of seeking to whitewash our history.
The Trump administration accuses the leaders of the Smithsonian of being radical activists. The report, released by the White House Domestic Policy Council, claims the Smithsonian cannot be trusted to tell America's story honestly, adding the leadership has moved the museum's mission away from straightforward historical education and scholarship toward an extreme political activism that seeks to transform our country.
Now, this comes after an appeals court sided with the Trump administration after it removed dozens of national park exhibits on slavery and climate change. The administration saying the exhibits inappropriately disparage Americans. Market Numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. President Trump has just rung the opening bell for the NASDAQ and for the New York Stock Exchange, doing so from the Oval Office for the first time ever. He did that to mark the launch of Trump accounts. Now, stocks are now trading, and the Dow Jones Industrials are plus 139. The NASDAQ gaining 222 at the open. The S&P 500 index is up 36 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 834 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here. For my friends at the Covered Patio, warmer weather means you want to spend more time outside. If you want to add more living space to your home, think about building or upgrading your patio. They've got motorized screens so that you can easily keep the patio open when you want some sun and closed when you want some shade. So your back screened-in porch becomes a lot more enjoyable. They've got a ton of outdoor living options. With motorized screens, patio covers, custom wooden decks, and outdoor structures, the Covered Patio is the company you need to go through if you want to upgrade or build a patio. Now, they've got a ton of options with styles for every budget as well. The Covered Patio is dedicated to fair prices and customized solutions for your specific home and your specific space. So enjoy your home a lot more with an incredible patio upgrade from the Covered Patio. Reach out to the Covered Patio, 615-695-2407, 615-695-2407. Online, thecoveredpatio.com, thecoveredpatio.com. Dan Mandis here for Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. If you're ready to save some money, my friends at Busy Bee, they are buzzing with some of the sweetest deals of the season. You buy a select high-efficiency unit and get free air duct fogging and a UV light home treatment to help keep your home's air cleaner and fresher. How about some plumbing deals? You can save $800 on whole home water and drain line replacements, or take $500 off a Halo 5D scaler and whole home water filtration system. Now, one more cool thing Busy Bee is doing for the month of July. You join the Beehive Club and you'll get a free yearly Beehive membership to give to someone in your neighborhood. That's right. By the way, if you need some financing, they can help you there as well with 0% financing for 18 months and no interest if paid in full within that time. Great savings as usual from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com offers valid with approved credit where applicable. Restrictions apply. See website for complete details and disclaimers.
All right, you've got the hazard, as it's being called by NDOT. It has Donaldson Pike closed off between Woodbury Drive and Colonial Circle. They're still not saying what that hazard is. You've got a blockage, too, for road work on 4th Avenue South between Demumbrian Street and Broadway. Spring Hill, it's blocked for sewer work on Kedron Drive between Saturn Parkway and Reserve Boulevard. And a blockage as well on Veterans Parkway in Murfreesboro. This is road work happening both directions between Armstrong Valley Road and New Salem Highway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$8:39, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on into Nashville's Morning News. Chris Hand, this may have been the longest radio broadcast I've ever done.
Dan, I thought it sounded great.
You didn't hear the first 2 hours when literally nothing was working.
God is good.
Nothing was working in the first 2 hours. We had cameras not working. Joan, what else went wrong this morning? Like everything went wrong.
Listen,
I don't know what the heck was going on.
You got to look at the bright side.
What's that?
You could have been protected. Maybe you were going to do something in those first 2 hours that would have got us all suspended from YouTube again. You know what I mean? There could be a silver lining in here.
Shots fired.
You could have been protected from yourself, Dan Mandis.
You know what? That is a full-time job for somebody, protecting me from myself.
Thanks, Amy.
Let's say maybe there's a bat in the cave or something. You know, the camera wasn't working. That was a good thing.
A bat in the cave?
Yeah. It's the phrase for having a booger hanging out.
So one of my problems.
What do they say? One in the cave is worth two in the bush, or something like that.
So one of my problems has been Sam today, who's been driving me nuts because that's what he's been coming up with.
Many such cases.
Just so we're clear, I've got a little. You ever do the whack the weeds in your nose?
Yes, you got to whack them.
Man, you sure do. Sam, wait. I want to know what Joan thinks. So Monty Fritz.
Yeah.
Putting that sign, I didn't even know, I'm a little embarrassed. I didn't know that had actually passed. I don't pay attention to strip clubs. So I didn't know that state legislature.
I'm just there for the lunch. They have good wings.
Listen, I had to go to the bathroom. It was the nearest one. I just ran right in there. But so he put this bill forward, and I guess the state legislature passed it and the governor signed it.
What is it? I'm unfamiliar.
So an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And basically what it says is by going into this,
I've got it if you want me to read it.
Oh, please do.
This den of debauchery.
This den of debauchery, you are contributing to human trafficking, et cetera. Go, Sam.
By participating in this type of entertainment, individuals may be contributing to an increase in domestic assault, rape, sexual assault, and human trafficking. And it has to be posted on the front door.
All right. So do you think, Joan,
Yeah.
I want to ask Joan first, and then I'm going to ask Chris, and then we're going to go to the super text, the YouTube poll, and find out what people said. Joan, do you believe that will prevent people from walking into that strip club?
No, I don't. But it puts it on their souls. If you are contributing, well, maybe that's something that, later on you go back home and you start thinking about what you just did.
Okay.
Maybe.
Sam? Not Sam. Chris? Do you agree with Joan? Or do you think that, and I'm going to give my official talk show host opinion in a second. Do you think that'll prevent people from going into the...
No, probably not.
All right. I don't think so either. Like, I think if you...
I mean, those signs are all over the airports. I still go to airports.
Yeah, but don't you read it?
Anti-human
Like
trafficking signs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Here's the signs of human trafficking, and if you see it, you report it. Like,
if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Well, I think you're going to see a lot if you go into a strip club. Do you know what I liked about? I love Monty Fritz, by the way. Just so we're clear,
Monty's awesome.
I thought it was kind of funny.
I'm a huge Monty fan.
Monty's like, when someone goes into one of these places where there's dancing involved, it's like, Monty, it's called a strip club. Even I know that. I love Monty. I'm not criticizing. I thought it was great. So I don't believe that it will prevent people from going in. However, to Joan's point, it might give people something to think about, maybe do some research, know the signs of human trafficking, that kind of a thing. So,
can I just say, first, I thought your interview with Monty was awesome.
Thank you.
I love that he didn't run away from that guy and apologize for even letting him into the campaign and apologize to the community for something so heinous, because nobody cares about your apologies.
Yeah.
Like, the people that want you to bend a knee and say, I'm so sorry, they don't care. They don't like you anyway. So
True.
Why would you waste any time? Oh, geez, Mr. Phil Williams, will you accept my most sincere apology? No, who cares? Phil ran an absolute hit piece on this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you played the clips, and it was as clear as day. Like, sorry, no, don't care. Moving on. Less liberty, or more liberty, less government. Let's just keep moving forward with the campaign. Could you? And I would just do this to just juxtapose it. If this happened to a John Rose campaign or a Marsha Blackburn campaign, how do they handle that same situation? I bet you there's a lot of knee bending and a lot of apologies and a formal statement saying this individual no longer works for the campaign.
Yeah.
Which is weak.
All right. So you liked Monty's. I thought his answers were fine. I appreciate him coming in. I myself wasn't like all that horrified by the whole thing. None of us is perfect. All of us have our own views.
Be careful, Dan. You're going to get accused of another softball. I love it. Just so everybody knows, behind the scenes here, when everybody was like, that was a softball interview with Marsha Blackburn, I was like, that was literally the same interview that you gave John Rose and the same energy with Monty the first time.
The same questions.
Yes. And I think that's respectable.
I was irritated. We talked about this earlier, and then we're going to get to, and people are chiming in. I guess the signs are on the strip clubs already, and nobody's paying attention to them. I guess that's what people are saying.
Ugh, I can't. These sinners in the audience have already seen the signs.
I have not seen them.
I've never been to a strip club in Tennessee.
Okay.
There's one right down the street. Well, when you're coming in on 40, you look over. I'm not going to say the name of the club.
Is it Shangri-La?
No.
Is that the name of it?
I don't know.
No.
I think didn't there used to be a strip club in Nashville called Shangri-La? What was the one right across it? Sam, you would know. What was the strip club that was right across the street from the radio station?
Is it Deja Vu?
Deja Vu. That Shangri-La, Deja Vu, whatever.
Sam knew.
That's exactly right.
Yes. The point that I was trying to make is, I come in when I arrive, when I'm driving past it, it's 3:30 in the morning. Place is packed every single night.
That's weird.
Yeah.
They've got great chicken wings.
I'm sure.
I'm there for the steak.
Yeah.
And probably great breasts too. Chicken breasts.
Did you have to go there?
Yes.
Again, we're in fifth grade.
Yes, he did.
I'm sorry,
yes,
I apparently did.
Joan.
It is such a dumb joke too, by the way. You go into Hooters, what do you order, right? Some snarky guy looks at the waitress and says, I'll have the breasts. Yeah, and it's like, oh, that's real original. So then, of course, I do the joke on the radio. Anyway, so what do people say, real quick, about whether or not a sign on the door would prevent people from going in.
Will a notice sign warning about human trafficking stop strip club goers? 91% say no.
91%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that the purpose of it though? Or was it to draw attention?
I guess it's...
I'm sorry.
What?
Jeff says, deja vu, 1 pretty woman, 99 ugly ones. I think that was part of their marketing. No, I think it was. If I remember right. Pamela, if you're listening, was that one of their marketing? Because Pamela has like the inside track on strip clubs in Tennessee. Only because she has a friend that, well, I don't want to go any further. But anyway, so she knows people that know people who runs the strip clubs and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, moving right along. So yeah, vast majority of people, that's not going to prevent them from going into a strip club.
Right.
Okay.
I think you've already made your decision by the time you hit the front door.
John in Lawrenceburg makes a good point. Not having a warning on the door has a 0 chance to stop anyone.
That's fair.
7679 says, I have been to a strip club. This is absolute truth. 7679. I have been to a strip club. Some of these girls are paying their way through college. I knew one woman who, way back when, in LA, who I worked with her, and she had multiple jobs, including as a stripper. I never saw her show, and she did invite me once, and I said no thanks. But she quit the stripper thing. Once she graduated college, she ended up going back because she got out of law school and realized that she wasn't making the bank that she was making. That girl was making like 6 figures as a stripper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so she said, I don't know why the heck I went to school.
But it's a finite window of opportunity there, Dan. That's why you go to school.
Well, it's like Menudo, right? You age out.
Is
that what it is?
You do age out.
Well, no, maybe an older stripper just goes to a less cool place.
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah.
What are you saying? That's where
the
older
retirees
strippers go? Oh, I see what you're saying. Whatever.
8474. Not even the Booby Bungalow in Elkton, Tennessee, Chris?
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
He said he's never been to a strip club in Tennessee. Someone throws out a random name like that.
How are the wings?
So where have you been to a strip club, Chris?
I did. I went to one in Vegas.
Okay.
I went to one in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been interesting.
Yeah, especially like
Joan is awfully quiet in this whole bit.
I've never been to one.
In Detroit, they
What am I gonna say?
have gunshot wounds. Such interesting.
Really? All right, very good. Anyway, so
they serve in deep dish.
Yeah,
But I bet you most people are going to see those signs, turn 360 degrees, and walk away.
Is that what you think?
He does not.
No. And again, maybe it's just for awareness sake, and maybe that's what they're doing.
Nobody picked up the fact that I said 360 degrees.
Oh, wow. Yeah, but Chris, it made me.
Did it leave? Did it leave the cave?
No. Chris, that was so funny. Chris made me blow snot. Moving right along. All right, so.
And you wonder why I'm happy not to be in there, honestly.
Yep. There's so much snot, Joan. And crumbs.
And farts.
Can we move on? You know what? We turned this into such a guy thing. It's like a locker room in here. Come on.
Get it together, Joan.
Yeah, Joan, get it together.
I was in there on Thursday, and it was a lot. It still smelled like a locker room.
Does it smell like a locker room in here?
It does. That chair? Oof.
Which one?
The one you're sitting in?
I blame Murphy, and not only because he's been texting me throughout the whole segment, and I know he's listening.
Time out. I want to know why Joan is sniffing chairs.
I'm not sniffing. I don't have to sniff anything.
The chair smells like a locker room.
You can walk into that room and know where it's coming from.
I also want to know how Joan knows what a men's locker room smells like. Joan?
Oh, I visit them all the time.
Would a sign on the door stop you from going in, Joan?
All right, Paul Pelosi, go.
Paul Pelosi is he's known for driving drunk and getting hammered. And now he's known for hit and runs as well, Dan.
Could face having his driver's license revoked after an alleged hit and run in Northern California on Friday. A spokesperson for the Napa County Sheriff's Office tells TMZ a deputy submitted a driver recertification request to the California DMV, which could require the 86-year-old Pelosi to undergo a new driver's test. The incident also comes after Pelosi was convicted of a separate DUI back in 2022.
Do you think that Paul Pelosi wished that he had hit and run 50 years ago when he met Nancy Pelosi?
Oh, jeez. Was there a sign on the door?
Again, Joan is so quiet. She's just... It's a simple question.
Should Paul even be driving, given how rich he obviously is and being 86 years old?
Get a driver. Like, get a driver.
Get an Uber.
Maybe hire the one that Dianne Feinstein had all those years.
What?
You know, the Chinese spy.
driver. Yeah, the spy.
Yeah.
You get a good discount.
Uh-huh. There you go. Anyway.
Yeah, Paul Pelosi, he's a scumbag. So.
Well, and as I said earlier, if I were married to Nancy Pelosi, I'd do a lot of drinking too. I really would.
Yep. Yep.
Waking up to that every day.
Yikes.
Just saying. So he's a drunkard, clearly. Hit and run in his Porsche, hits some car that's parked. By the way,
he hit a Tesla.
In wine country, Napa Valley. That's wine country. So he's probably like one hand on the wheel and guzzling a bottle of wine.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just crazy. Get a driver, get your own Tesla and have it drive you around.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do, man.
I don't understand it. It's just so dumb.
76-79. Paul Pelosi got hammered again. By the way,
whatever happened to that story? Was there something more to that, Dan?
Look.
The grown man in his underwear.
Very suspicious to me. I don't. There was no. But police in their investigation said that the guy that broke into their house, he literally did break in, and it was a legit break-in. Had nothing to do with some sort of weird late-night gay hookup.
Nothing.
I'm telling you.
And the window that he broke in just happened to be broken outwards. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
No,
yes.
I believe, Sam, fact check. Because I think that I remember seeing the window in the back. It was broken inwards. I believe.
We got to go. So there's that.
Oh.
I remember Dan looking out for me. This was like one of the first things that happened when I got my show here.
Yep.
And Dan was like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna roast Paul Pelosi, and Dan was like, well, he might die, so hold off on that. He did get hit in the head with a hammer.
Did I say
and
that?
I was like, that's good advice. Thanks, Dan.
Oh, wow. That's pretty. I actually had no idea that I did that. All right, very good. It is 8:55. Joan's got the news. Joan.
Yeah, so can fireworks disrupt an airplane's flight? Turns out that's a yes, and a plane was hit over the weekend. That story is up ahead at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 8:55. Dan Mandis here for my friends at Window Nation. Listen, if you need new windows, you've got to check out my friends at Window Nation. The pros at Window Nation, they can hook you up with brand new energy-efficient windows at a great price. Window Nation, listen to this great deal. You could get 50% off all window styles. You could get 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years with Window Nation. Listen, during uncertain times, one of the best investments you can make is in your home. So don't forget that great deal going on right now at Window Nation. You could get 50% off all window styles. You could get 0 down payment, no payments or interest for 2 years, courtesy of my friends at Window Nation. So listen, if you're thinking about replacing your air conditioner, check out your windows first, because drafty windows force your AC to work overtime. New windows from Window Nation, they're going to help keep